Welcome to another episode of Soul Filling, where you get your soul fed. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Jasmine.
And Kobe is out for this week. She had a baby, her baby boy. Episode of Soul. Oh, sorry guys. A little feedback on my end. But yes, again, Kobe officially is a mother to a beautiful baby boy, Caden. So we're letting her, get some time to get her mother life together. And when she's ready to come back to the podcast, which I know is gonna be soon, knowing Kobe.
Knowing Kobe. You need to spend time with baby Caden and just create that mother-son bond. Yes. Yeah. And it was literally since the last episode, y'all, she became a whole mom.
Yes, literally like 2 days later after our last episode, she became a whole mom. She's so amazing. And we are just grateful to God that she's healthy and that Caden is healthy. And
won't he do it? Won't he will? Won't he do it?
Hallelujah.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're gratitude. And we know Christmas just ended, and that was a blessing as well. And we're going into the new year, guys. 2020 on Friday is in the past. We learned a lot of lessons, but now, okay, and now we are moving forward, upward, elevating, leveling up. Boom, bow, bow. Boom.
All that.
So
that's we thriving into 2021, y'all. Thriving,
guys.
Thriving all 2021.
All 2021 and beyond. And so today we want to talk about how exactly we're going to be able to thrive and elevate, because we came to a conclusion. Both me and Jasmine had the same thought because we are soulmates. Telepathy.
Girl, telepathy is there.
Telepathy. And we want to talk, okay. So we want to talk about what is required for us to get into that elevation. And mainly we came to the same conclusion that it's change. And we're going to dive deeper into that, because what we realize is ain't nothing going to change unless what we do changes. So
you got to make that change.
So tell the people, like, where did you get this thought from?
Yeah, so it really just, y'all, 2020 has been like one of these years where we've all been going through some changes. And it was just, I think since we're coming to the end of the year, I was just kind of doing an overall review on like my goals and just things that I've been accomplishing and have not been accomplishing, should I say. And just really, and girl, I think it even, part of it triggered when me and Tiff and Deb, we met up at Tiff's place so that we can write our 2021 goals down. And as we were writing our goals down, we had like this aha moment. It was like an aha moment. And it was an aha moment for me as well. And one of the aha moments was just to find your zone of genius, kind of that bringing it all together. And so in the midst of that, I was just thinking like, wow, like it could have all been so simple so much sooner, but I'm glad that we're receiving it now. And it was just one thing kept leading to another thing, to another thing. And then even, I haven't told y'all this, but so soulmates, I have officially made it all official and started my company. Started my LLC, got my LLC. Shout out to Tiff for bringing the Pipeline Connect to an amazing source that was able to help me get it with the swiftness. I'm talking less than a week, y'all. Less than a week. I am now officially a company. And so my company is a real estate investing firm that pretty much invests in real estate. And you know what, y'all, you've been listening to the episodes, starting with the inspiration from my mom's house, rebuilding her home, and just going through that 2-year-long process has taught me that this is truly possible. This is so possible. It's so tangible. And then the rewarding feeling afterward. And so with that, it came with taking risk like no other. And so in life, like Tiff we're saying, we have to really get accustomed to that change and taking that chance. Really, it makes me think of that song by Lenore, Take a Chance. But like, we really have to take chances, y'all. We have to take chances because everything that we do in life involves risk. And so that it was just one thing, and being able to take that risk and take that chance on myself, calculated risk, mind you, really just made, and us coming to the end of the year and so feeling, just seeing our growth, but seeing what we truly need to do. And we're gonna share some of these things in the podcast. But yeah, it was just the compilation of things that just, yo, this is what we need to do because this is really gonna help us level up. How about for you too?
No, yes, that's so true. I realized that out of every risk or every redirection came a blessing, especially in 2020. For me, like you guys know, at the beginning of 2020, I was working full time at my nonprofit, not at my nonprofit, at a nonprofit, and a place that I love and till this day still adore. And I just, when 2020 happened and we had to work from home, I was like, I don't ever want to go back into the office again. Like, what is this? Like, what do you mean? And then also I was really wanting to be promoted for the last 2 years, and for some reason it just never happened. And so I had to make a decision. Of course, I was doing a lot of preparation in between the time, of applying for other jobs, for getting a LLC, for just putting everything. I was just doing whatever to make sure that I didn't need this job. And so at the end of it, so one of the things was being debt free. So that was one thing. So I was able to do that. And I'm just getting tongue tied because I'm getting overwhelmed, because also another thing that was tied to being debt free was like, I wasn't going to move out of my mother's house until I was debt free as well. So that also came as well. And so with that, it's like that all required change. To be able to get debt free is I had to put most of my money towards every month to a huge sum. Like most of my income was going to paying off my student loan debt, and before that my car debt. And so I was just really, and I had the privilege to be at my mom's house and be able to do that. And so that took change, that's like a change thing. And from that, a result, I was able to get my apartment. I was able to become debt free. And now I ain't got no worries. That's all when it comes to finances, I don't have worries, but it took a change. And then eventually, when I realized there was no way for me to elevate into my job like I wanted to, I had to make a decision to go ahead and to leave, to bet on myself. And when I said, after I did that, I was working a part-time job, had other jobs, had other clients within my company. And then out of nowhere, what was my part-time job was offered into a full-time job, which is crazy to me because that's something I just never expected to happen. Like I did not think anything about this job, guys. When I say, I just said I needed a part-time remote job. I just needed some extra income. I did not realize that this was going to be a job that changed the way I think and the way I get paid and able to work from home. And so what I'm saying for all that, we have to make a change in our life if we want things to change. And then also bet on ourselves, but also bet on God, because though it don't make sense, like that don't make sense to me. I wasn't thinking like that at all, but God said, here you go. You need this to get to the next level. You need to work with them because they change the way you think. They give you a mindset of abundance. And plus you just got this new apartment. So you don't have to worry about scrambling for money now because you have a steady income. That above so many other things. So I know that was a whole lot, but I want to cry thinking about it because God's good.
God is doing it. Oh, yes, it's a beautiful testimony, Tiff, that you I'm so thankful you shared that, because God is so amazing. And I'm just honored to be sitting here on the sideline, being your friend, to just really be inspired and just seeing all these blessings, because it's truly like you said, how one thing just led to another. It was like your steps were ordered by God. They truly are. And it's so beautiful. Like you taking that leap of faith, that chance. And it's really that chance, y'all, that chance is that so-called risk, is that leap of faith. That's what it is. Like the humans, the world, we call it risk. But and one thing, because I really want to make sure our soulmates, we are clear on this about the risk and about the taking the chance. Because notice, I love how you said you were so strategic. You paid off your whole car note. Like, how many of us still walking around with car notes? I'm personally, I'm still walking around with a car note. It's not a bad thing, y'all. But I'm just saying, like, you took that step. You paid off your student loans. Like, you took major calculated moves. Like you said, when I do move out of my mother's house, because that's what a lot of times we do. We get this big idea and we just thrust ourselves forward. Not saying that that's a bad thing, but I think if we want to be very strategic and very in control in a way I think God wants it for us. I don't think he wants us to be out here, struggling and starving and, just because we said we moved out. I think he wants us to still be uplifted, and he still wants us to be full. He still wants us to have abundance. He wants it to be a good experience for us. But we have to take that action. And that's one thing that you did that's so inspiring, that has inspired me in the way I move with my businesses. And because thanks to you seeing it firsthand, you being my friend, it inspired me. I'm like, okay, by the end of 2021, I would not have a car note, y'all. Like, I literally have like $5,000 left on my car note, and I got the money. I'm like, should I just pay it off?
Girl, you ain't gonna have. You said the end of 2021. Girl,
it might be the mid of 2020.
I'll give you 3 to 6 months.
Girl, come on. I'll be telling y'all in a few months that I paid off my car note too. But no, it's because I'm thinking like strategically. I'm like, I want this money to be able to work for me, whether I put it in my business, whether I'm looking to purchase a new home. My whole company is about homes, is real estate. So I'm like, I really wanted to allow this money to be, it frees up my time, frees up my peace of mind to be able to put this money. Yes, it's working hard right now for me, but I'm about to have it working even way harder in better ways. And I think we just have to be way more strategic with the company that I started. And made me think about like the reason why I feel so confident in starting real estate journey, because when I was building my mom's house, y'all, literally every problem under the sun came up, and it's with our mistakes. It's with these risks that we take, that we learn from them. And this is why reading this book called Failing Forward has really gave me a whole new outlook on mistakes, where we tell ourselves that it's mistakes. It makes me really love mistakes, because I'm like, when we look back at our life, and going back to the example of building my mom's house, we had everything, like from surprise lead-based paint and pipings that was put in the homes back in the 40s and 50s, asbestos, like things that you name it, every red flag came up, and these were quote unquote mistakes. And we kept hitting brick walls, like, all right, so we might not be able to build because of this. We may not be able to, and it seemed like we were coming to these stopping points. But now, this is why it's like, now that I'm in real estate, I know the things to ask for. I know the things when people trying to sell me stuff and contract, I'm like, okay, but did you check on the asbestos, because this home was built before the 1950, and they're like, okay, goes back to contract and rewrite some stuff up. And it's just like, because of those so-called mistakes, we know what to look for on the road ahead of us when we are taking these calculated risks. That's the thing. Because if I didn't know better, or if I didn't do my due diligence, do my research, these mistakes could happen again to me, and I could find myself in a hole, and we could find ourselves in holes with whatever it is that we're doing. And so we really want to learn, take what we've learned from these hard moments, these moments that I was literally crying when we was in the process of building my mom's house, when they told us it was about to be a whole 30 extra thousand from, but it was from the city. But it was just like, yo, what is, and it was like red flags stopping the process. But now it's like, oh, I'm asking y'all, I'm asking the seller, I'm already 10 steps. It feels like I'm 10 steps ahead. It feels like I've been here because of those mistakes, those risks that we took. So in anything you do, just take calculated risks. Make sure you do your due diligence. And like Tiff was doing, like she was calculating, like, okay, want my whole year's paid for the rent. I'm gonna want to have freedom of my money where I'm not having to go to mama's house and shop in her pantry. I can just go to Kroger's or Sprouts or Whole Foods.
You always leave with a bag when you go to your mom's house. So be honest,
girl,
I stole a plant. I asked her for it. But anyways, keep going.
But no, yeah, it's just those calculated risks. And I just want to ask y'all, soulmates, in 2021, what calculated risk are you going to take? And sometimes we be ready to thrust ourselves out there in the risk, but just know, like, slow down. Maybe you're going to have to stay in mama house an extra 6 months until you can do what you need to do, or, do whatever it is that you need to do. But it's all with a purpose. It's all calculated.
I love that. And I'm big. I'm glad you said sometimes you do need to stay at your mom's house. If you're able to stay at your mom's house, I think you should do it. Like if you're able to stay in a location that is healthy for you, where you don't have to pay rent or not as much rent, because you're and you have a job or some income coming in. I think that is really important. And I know me and Deborah were talking about, I think you were there too. I think she was talking, I don't know if she was talking to you. Anyways, but I know me and Deborah, we were talking about how important it is sometimes to, how we have to get out of the mindset of just like, as parents kicking your child out at 18, or as adults, 18-year-old adults, thinking that we just have to leave and figure it out our own and put ourselves in debt. Like, it just depends on whatever financial state you're in, what mental state you're in. And it's different for everyone, but I don't want people to feel down because they are living with their family members. It's okay, because we are community. It's Kwanzaa, right? And so I think yesterday was about unity. And so we really have to, I believe we really have to forget this individualism thing that we have, like this. We're very individualistic in America, but like Jasmine says, like we were talking about before, how we could work together to build. And that's what it's going to take. And it's okay. That's what I want to say. It might look all cool to have an apartment, but it's also very cool that I was able to spend so much time with my mother and learning from her and getting to know her, and just so many amazing memories in that house. And I still go, like I was there for 3 days just now. I just came back to my apartment to see my plants, but I'm just glad. I just want to really focus on that for a second, because I know sometimes it may seem like I just want people to know it's okay to stay to stay at home.
Girl,
even if you're in your like late 20s, but just make a plan to leave. Just make plans to where you're financially stable or mentally, stable, to be able to get up and leave, so you don't have to go back. But just thinking about you, Jazz, me and my mom were actually talking about you yesterday, and I just was like, because I was telling her that you started your own company, and just when I was talking about you, I just realized, like, I know you're amazing, but you really are super amazing. When I was talking, I was like, yes, took care of her mom, because my mom asked about your mom, and I told her how she's doing now because of you and the house. And just, I don't think that people understand how much, and sometimes I don't understand as well, even as your friend, how much that you've been through, and how much that you still go through because of all the responsibilities that you have on your plate. And I was just telling my mom that I know that you're going to be successful because of all the things that you've already done. Like, with your family, even like you taking care of Eva, even the effect that you have on Jarvis, and the effect that y'all have on each other. And I'm grateful for his mom and his sister. And so it's just like, I don't have any doubt that your company is going to be successful just because of who you are as a person. And so, yeah, I just want people to know that, though.
Aw, thanks, Tiff. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, but I'm very excited. Oh, and then it all goes back to say, like, God really set you up too for this business. Because if we're talking about the 2 years that really went into her getting this house for her mom, which is a whole testimony in itself, I'm just thinking about the steps that now, like, we didn't know that was a setup for what God had for Jasmine within her own business. And I'm sure a year later from now, 5 years later from now, and as it continues to grow, what testimony that's going to be, not only from starting from you building a house for your mom, but starting from your childhood, from where you've been, from being with your dad to your aunt to taking care of your mom. So it's like, it's almost crazy that the struggle really lined you up for success, not only for yourself, but for generations to come. And so I just think God is super amazing. You're amazing. And I'm just honored. Yeah, I really am.
Oh, thank you so much, Tiff. Thank you. Because sometimes I don't even really see it as such. Sometimes I just like, when people, come to me and they talk to me about my mom's house, that's one of the biggest, like my grandmother and some of my friends that I've told that's been there about through the journey, basically. And, seeing that process, I didn't even see it as me being like something like, oh, you're doing a great thing for your mom. I just kind of seen it as like something that needed to be done after like seeing the current circumstances. And I think it's funny how life that's those things that look like mistakes, right? Those things that look like they're horrible. And granted, it was a very, I'm not trying to downplay it. It was horrible in the process, but it's just like you said, when everything comes together and when you see it come full circle, it's just like, oh, okay, God, I see why I was learning that. I see why I was in this situation. Because like, I guess with my life, like with the way things, and I don't want to make it seem like I had a horrible childhood. When I look back in retrospect, I was like, dang, I really have amazing family members that love me, that like, I'm just so blessed, like super blessed, because some families aren't as close. And it could have been a very, very different road for me if I didn't have a tight knit of a family as we do. Like, I'm blessed from my grandmother, my aunts, my uncles, my dad. Oh, I just get, I ain't know I be crying on this episode.
You were so good.
Girl, it just makes me want to cry. And it just, when I see things go full circle and I make them proud, like with the whole, it's just, even if they were one of the people that told me I couldn't do it, it still feels good to like have them be proud of you when you do something that they didn't even think was possible.
The light. But I love that you said, though, that you didn't really think about it. It's like, oh, I'm helping, that you thought like it needed to be done. And I think that is such a keen word to press on, because even with the nonprofit I'm starting, it's something like I feel like needs to be done. And I'm sure like a lot of the things that are on our heart is like we can't run away from it. It's because we're like, well, this needs to be done. The reason why we have soul feelings, like, okay, this people need to hear this. People need to be able to hear what we really go through.
Yes.
So, yeah, it needs to be.
That's exactly why we started Soul Feeling. We was like, y'all, the world needs to hear these stories, need to hear this advice, because we just want to, wow.
Yeah.
Need, when it's a need.
It's literally like need. I feel like it really does tie into like your zone of genius, which we basically tie into our purpose. It's like that inner need that we just feel the world needs. needs. And that's why it doesn't feel like work when we do it. That's why we spend so much time talking on Soul Filling Podcast or before Soul Filling Podcast or in our meetings. And it doesn't seem like it's even that long. But going back to change, I know we went to like a whole whirlwind, but I mean, y'all have to know the backstory sometimes. You got to know what's going on in life, because it's just like now, I was telling the girls, if I'm going to be vulnerable right now, I was telling girl, and y'all know this already, how I was just really feeling behind, right? And I think it's very important to have a close knit people around, friends and family who you can talk to, because sometimes you feel, just to keep you grounded again, to reaffirm you, to be there for you and not look like at you like you're crazy. Like I told my mom, I told the girls, like I just felt like I wasn't where I'm supposed to be. But going back, when we're talking more in depth, realizing when you look back that all the things that you've been through or all the things that you've done, it is exactly where you're supposed to be. And sometimes you're not supposed to get things as early as other people do. And that's why everybody's journey is different. So when it comes to change, I think one of the major things that we have to change for me, number one, is to stop looking at other people. I mean, because inspiration and comparison kind of get muddled sometimes. So, if that starts to turn into comparison, mute that person. Look, do what's best for your mental health. So my one thing I want to say that you need to change is mind your own Black business. Okay, mind your business. There's 7 billion people in the world. We could be successful. We could all win together. Number two is what we talk about all the time. Like I told you, I've been seeing the number 222 a lot, and that just means that you have to work with other people to get to new heights. The saying is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with people. And so I know for myself, like I've always been a very individual person. If we're doing a group project, don't worry about it. I got it. I don't care if y'all don't do nothing. I will get us the A. I do not care. But realizing that being one person is you can only do so much. You need other people. And so like what I'm doing for myself now is trying to, have help, seek help when I need it. It's because I know that will get me further along. And also it's just fun. Like collaboration is fun. Being with other people is fun. And I think that one change, especially in 2021, is really going to help me and all of us together elevate faster. Because 4 hands are better than 2.
Yes. I'm so glad that you said that, because that's a risk for some people. Like, not being able to allow people to use their zone of genius or their expertise into what you have. And that's one thing I truly love about real estate, and it's teaching me that like you want to work together. And I don't want to put this person out there, but I know someone that tried to do real estate and that failed back in the early 90s, I want to say, because they wanted to do everything themselves. And they were trying to give me advice about, real estate. And they were just telling me like how you have to learn all of this. Like you have to learn A, B, C, and D, which guys, I don't want to make it seem like I want to just throw the responsibility on a person. I still myself want to be very knowledgeable. And I think Tiff and I, we talked about this in the past about pretty much how, like, I don't want to know accounting, but I want to know accounting. If that makes sense. Like, I want to know the basics. I want to know the basics. Exactly. And that's the thing. And think about it. That's what all major companies do. They're not trying to be the cashier, the supervisor, the manager, the electronics lead. They're not trying to be proficient in gardening. They're not trying to be an auto mechanic, technology. Like if Sam Walter tried to learn all those things instead of delegating and letting, if you are a good auto mechanic, hey, that's going to be your area. If you're good in gardening, then hey, this is going to be your area. You're good in apparel and clothing, this is going to be your area. Produce farming, this is your area. And so like being able to truly, if this is somebody's zone of genius, being okay with them being smarter than you in this area, and actually letting them thrive and be all they can be in that area. So that's going back to real estate. That's what I'm learning. Like you need many different players on your team. You need contractors. You need someone that's a real estate agent. So a contractor and an agent may be they have two different skill sets. One is a people person. One is a great builder. Do I necessarily need my contract to be the most biggest people person in the world? Probably not. And so, or even your attorney, but for someone to try to get in the business and try to learn put on all the hats and try to operate in such, your business will cave in, because we can only do so much. There's only so many hours in a day for us to do it. And I think it's just so much easier on our mental. It's so much easier, and it keeps your business fun and don't feel like you're being drained. So the delegation piece, even for my mentor, he told me, like, and most people they get turned off by the idea of real estate because they think that they have to be the ones out there fixing toilets and waking up out of their bed if their tenant's air conditioning unit breaks at 3 a.m. And he's like, no, you don't. He's like, if you cannot hire a property manager, one that can reach out and fix these problems, then don't do it. Don't do it, because it's going to be too much on your mental. And he said, I know people try to cut corners and cut costs, but he said, if the deal doesn't already, before you even buy the deal, it doesn't even allow you to delegate that, then that's not the deal you want. You want to buy a deal that allows you to have that type of leeway and leg room. So just in any business, we want to make sure we're being intentional and strategic, being very strategic with our time so that we can have the energy and the fuel to move our business forward.
Yeah. Another thing that I think that is important is to be patient. And I know we're talking about take action, but sometimes there are things that you need to learn. Sometimes there's a course that might take 12 weeks for you to get through before you're able to implement what you need. And then it's just like, we don't have to rush everything, because sometimes the time just doesn't feel right. You could feel it in your soul, like, I don't think this is the right time. And really listen to your intuition on that. But also have the hope that whatever you're waiting on is gonna come. I'm big on this. Y'all know this. Okay. I wait and I wait and I wait. But I mean, it could be for your good, but it could also be for your detriment. So you just want to have the discernment on what you're waiting on, what you're saying yes to, and also make sure that you are saying no. That's one thing I'm going to take into 2021 is saying no, because I'm such a yes person. Yeah, I can do that. Yes. And then I start to get overwhelmed and I'm not able to perform to my best abilities. And then another thing.
Oh, let me just do it. Can I just do a little tidbit? Yeah. Just because you're able to do it doesn't mean you should be doing it.
It's so true. And you're going to have to just keep telling me that. Girl,
I had to tell myself that.
Yes. And also, don't be afraid to, I'm telling all the lessons I learned in 2020, because although it's been a prosperous year, girls ain't never worked this hard in her entire life. Like, okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. But what I want to say is, don't be afraid to ask for what you want, because you'll be surprised about the money out here. While you're valuing yourself at a low rate or whatever, the only thing that a person could tell you is no or yes. Or this girl said this in an Instagram editorial. She was saying, like, because this was me, she was like, if you're like me and you're scared to ask for things that you want, this is for you. And she was basically like, ask for what you want. And I'm like literally having to tell myself this right now, because there's two things I need to talk about. Anyways, in my personal life, that for what I want. And so the answer will either be yes no, or something in the middle that y'all could compromise on. So whatever, if someone, and she said, if someone gives you a no, you don't deserve this. What do you mean? No, that's not a person you want to work with anyways. That's not a person you want to be with. That's not for you. So if that yes is for you, that yes is for you. If that in between is for you, if it goes with you, that's for you. But it's 2021. This is a
Hang on,
huge.
Tiff, you were
I'm
frozen on mine.
need you to ask for what you want, and sometimes I'm gonna need you to ask for more because you don't know what people a lot of money. Oh, you're frozen on mine too. I'm scared. Let me look at the. All right, am I frozen still? Hold on. Hold up. Okay, let me change something.
Yeah, it
Let me
said that you
change
were
something.
okay. Now you're good.
Hold on. Can you see me? Okay. Okay. So which part did I miss out on? Which part did I stop on?
Ooh, gosh, it's on the tip of my tongue. I can't think.
I'm just saying, ask for what you want.
Oh yes, yeah. Ask for what you want. I need to take that into account as well, girl.
Yeah, just ask for what you want. Cause look, I have and haven't, but luckily I had a Black woman, and even my brother. Some like they tell me like, nope, you need to ask for what you need. You need more. Like I was telling you guys, like I got this one contract a few months ago that came in today. I said, let me do a praise break because with this contract, they're like, okay, what's your rate? And I told them my rate because that's what I personally thought I was worth. And and I thought it was a lot. To be honest, I said, okay. Then the lady called me back and was like, no, ma'am, no, I need you to rearrange that budget because you're working with this type of company and this type of company has the funds. If it wasn't for a Black woman, I wouldn't have been able to double what I asked for. Okay.
Oh, won't he do it?
Yes, he will.
Won't he will. Yes, he will.
So shoot for the stars, and we have to not be scared of that no. Then we also have to use our no.
Use our no and use our no.
Yes. It works out best for you and that person because if you're saying no to something, that opens up an opportunity for someone else who is like maybe has more time, maybe is more equipped for them to do it, or maybe it's just something that they will be happier doing. While you saying yes could be draining to something. And then also it works best for them too because they have someone who's enthusiastic about getting their work done. They're probably gonna have better work because they're happy about it. Where you not so much. Okay.
Come on. And while you were saying that, it made me think about how ways that we can make sure that what we're giving into the world is up to par. The value is being, valued at a decent rate. We have to be, and I've heard this in the past, but I never, that's one of those things you learn before the student is ready. I think sometimes we get some really good information in our past, but we don't apply that information, y'all. And so the thing is, knowing your market, knowing the people that do the same thing as you, what do they charge? Knowing the type of customer that they cater to, knowing the type of customer you're wanting to cater to. If it's a similar type of customer, what do they charge their customers? Don't sell yourself short by saying, oh, well, I just started off. So, and maybe you could get one under your belt, but once you get that one, you're pretty much doing the same process. I think we overcomplicate things in our mind. We'll end up doing the thing 2 and 10 and 42 times before we say, okay, now I'm going to charge what I feel like I'm worth. And probably may not even be that much. But if we're knowledgeable and we're focused on what the market is like, y'all, this is a whole word because I'm learning. So market don't lie, because the market produces data, and everything you do, there's a market for, whether you selling shoes, whether you selling hair, whether you selling water, like whatever you do, it has a market. And so we have to study the markets, because the market gives you that data as to what is a general price. And maybe you could just bump yours, maybe $100 under, or $50 under, or $10 under, depending on what you're selling, so that you can be competitive. But if you anchoring yourself, like you were saying, and charging something that's not even the ball game, sometimes it can even scare clients away. Like, is this really gonna be good? Something too cheap sometimes. You kind of like, what's wrong with it? And it could be the best thing in the world. It could be bomb. They can have all the qualifications, but you just like, I don't know about that, because the price, I don't know. So that's another reason why it's good to be within the market, because it makes your product seem like it's good. It can compete with the best of the best that's out there. So obviously you have to be the best of the best that's out there. If you have, prices that are around, don't think that people are going to be turned off, because the reality of it is, y'all, everyone wants to buy something. I don't know. It's our human nature. There's been very few times where I just look back at the things I bought and be like, man, I wish I didn't buy that. Like, now it may happen every now and then, but the majority of things you spend your money on a day-to-day basis, you were pretty happy that you either you was hungry, you wanted it, you feel like it was in need, you feel satisfied, you feel good about yourself when you purchase something. So we got to get this idea of our minds that, oh, I'm trying to save them money, or I'm trying to make it easy for them, or whatever the case is, because I used to think that way, and in business, that's the wrong way of thinking. And what taught me that was, I was telling you this the other day too, one of my old jobs when I used to work at Nordstrom in the shoe department, where they sold designer shoes. And sometimes designer shoes could be, girl, you buy as much as $3,000 to $5,000 if you buy some Chloe boots, but on an average they're around $1,200. And so what I was doing, I was judging my clients at first, when I first started off, with the money I had in my bank account, knowing I couldn't afford to buy 2 and 3, 4 pairs of these shoes. But my clients, on the other hand, they could buy 2 and 4 and 5 and 7 pairs of shoes and not even bat an eye, and not think about tomorrow, did I make a bad purchase, or have buyer's remorse, or any of that. They were happy and content and feel like they got what they wanted. And so when you are marketing yourself in whatever it is you're selling, know that your customers are getting something of value. If it wasn't for you, they wouldn't have this value. They wouldn't have this amazing thing that they could use. They wouldn't have a task done. We have to put ourselves in their shoes. I mean, act like you're the buyer. When you buying something, you feel happy. And so when they're buying something from you, they feel happy. They don't feel drained, or like, I shouldn't be buying this, or whatever the case is. So just don't judge your clients. This is what my old supervisor said. Don't judge your client's pocketbook by your pocketbook, and you'll get so much further in your business. And y'all, my sales doubled that next year. I'm not even gonna lie. They doubled when I started adapting that philosophy. And I'm like, another thing I didn't know, I need to apply something along my journey that is being used in my now business. But it's a reminding thing. I have to remind myself.
That's so, I take that too, because people, we don't know. Also, another thing, we don't know what a rich person look like. We don't know what a poor person look like, because they could look the same and they could look different. And a poor person could have
same.
because I thought the same thing. So that goes also in correlation with like followers and stuff like that. We think that we need so much when we really don't. But at the end of the day, all we're trying to say in this podcast is you are going to have to make a change in your life if you want things to change. We realize that doing the same thing over and over again is just going to get us the same result. So what are you doing? Even though you're putting in all this hard work, it's not working. It's not working. Some things are working. Stick to those things, but it's not working right now. There's some area in your life that it's not working. So you have to change. You have to change. Not even think about that in my life sometimes as well. I'm single for 5 years essentially. And I have to think to myself, okay, I might have to change something about myself or the way the dating process. Maybe I do need to get on online apps. I don't know, but it's something okay. That's something I do think about. Like, okay, if this isn't working for the last 5 years, there's something I need to change to make this area of my life change for me. If there's something not working within Soul Filling Podcast, we can't continue doing the same thing. And then even if you are successful at something, if you want, you could stay the same way successful for years. But if you want to elevate that success, you're also going to have to do new things and able to get to another place. That might look like investing in yourself. That might look like hiring someone. That might look like taking a vacation. It might be different for everyone. So all we're saying is you can't do the same thing if you're expecting different results.
Talk about it. And I know we do the same things because it's comfortable to us. It feels good. You don't have to get outside of your level, your zone of uncomfortability. But as I was reading in this book, two major quotes, and you basically said it with what you said. It says, change yourself and your world changes. You have to change. There's something about us that even in your relationship, if you feel like your partner not loving, they ignoring you, there's certain things we can change in ourselves. And it'd be like so easy to just place the blame where you feel like it's just a plethora of things. You feel like your eating habits haven't changed. It's something in us, some type of discipline. Your financial life haven't changed. It's something in you, something in me, something in us. A discipline that we have to move differently in our business. Like you were saying, it's like he gave an example in the book Failing Forward where he says, some people, they see that something hasn't changed for them and they end up working harder. They grind even harder. They like, oh, I just need to work a little bit harder and then it'll change. I just need to do it I need to wake up earlier and do that same thing and then I'm gonna get better results. But it's like, no, boo. Obviously that thing wasn't working. So don't wake up and do the same thing. Wake up and do something different and then stay consistent on that different path to see if change is really going to happen. Because sometimes we'll do one thing differently for one day, one time, and then we say, oh, it didn't work. Let me go back to what I've been doing. But the thing is, we've been doing what we've been doing for a course of however long, 6 months, a year, our whole lifetime. And that thing has not worked. So it's like, we have to do the new thing for a long period of time to truly see if it works or not. And like you said, Tiff, even if you are doing good, and even if you find yourself doing good, being open to implementing those new little tweaks, those new little things that may help you scale up your life, your business, your everything. But yeah. Oh, and last thing, he said, when we, an analogy for when we trying so hard and doing the same thing over and over and over again and looking for different results, it's just like a person trying to shove a square peg in a round hole. First you start off and you're like, okay, let me go more intense. And so you start tapping on it, and then you like, okay, I need to really go hard. So then you get a hammer and you force it in there, and like, and it's like, yeah, you got it in there, but maybe you should have just, instead of trying to use a square peg, just go get a round peg and put it in the hole. It would have been a lot more easier. You wouldn't have to work as hard as we think we do. And just being adaptable and having that high willingness to change.
That's so good. I just think there's just so many things we could talk about here. And I guess the last thing I would say is like, sometimes we do beat ourselves up for like, one thing I beat myself up for is not being such a risk taker. I was like, dang, I really am a by the book person. Like, Jazz knows me personally. If it's something I'm not supposed to be doing, I'm not doing it. Like, I'm just really not. And but
you not, girl. But no, you are now.
Yeah. But also with what I was saying is like knowing that, but don't beat yourself over that, because sometimes like what you think is your perceived weakness could actually be a strength. And now that I'm seeing that, I had to look at it because I was like, dang, like I don't feel like I'm really much of a risk taker. I'm really strategic and stuff like that. I'm really by the book. But then I had to think to myself, okay, well, let's turn that into a strength. Like, okay, if you're by the book, be a by the book by investing in yourself and then following the instructions to make things work the way they're supposed to work. Because I'm also a very free spirited person, but maybe I need to strengthen instructions or doing things the right way in other places in my life. And so all I'm saying is like sometimes the weakness that we think we have can also be turned into a strength. We're just not using it right. But all in all, think about what areas in your life you want to change, and then change you and change the way you're doing things.
Change you and change the way you're doing things. And I just got one last caveat about risk and how you were saying, like, you know, and I think that's something that I used to struggle with as well, like just being afraid. And I still do. Like, I'm not even gonna sit here and make it seem like it's perfect, but we just have to have a new perception about risk. We take risk every single day, y'all. Every day. When you get in your car, there's a 20% risk of something bad happening. When you get fly in the air, there's a 15% risk. When you just taking a walk down the street, 15% risk. If you like, I ain't gonna do none of the things, I'm gonna just stay in my house. There's a 17% risk of something happening just in your house. Huh?
You're walking, you might as well go walk.
Girls, it's 17, and I actually looked these when Tiff right before we did the podcast. I wanted to look up the actual risk stats. Like, these are true numbers. I'm not just throwing out random stuff. And so, like, we take risk doing our everyday life anyway. Whether you're just taking a walk in the park, whether you're sitting in your own house. We heard some crazy things about people just sitting in their own house in 2020. So y'all know I'm not just making this up. Like, y'all, we take risk every day anyway. And so to achieve anything worth having in life, it involves risk. So the things, your dreams, those are going to involve risk. So why not just daringly, boldly take that risk? Yes, it's going to feel uncomfortable. You might feel a little fear in the midst of it, but still, if you're going to take a risk anyway, doing nothing at all, you may as well take a risk, a calculated risk, in doing something that you truly love.
Now that's a word to end on. What time is it?
It's affirmation time. It's affirmation time. It's affirmation time. Y'all, this is your first time tuning in on the Soul Villain podcast. We always end our podcast with a positive affirmation. So what the heck is an affirmation? An affirmation is any statement that you are using to transform your life. Either you're transforming your life for the good, or you're transforming your life for your demise. Even in the Bible, it states, let the weak say. Keyword, you got to say it, y'all. It says, let the weak say, I am strong. So on those days when you're not feeling your best and you're feeling sick and tired, down and out, all those negative emotions, still speak uplifting, affirming affirmations over your life that you are going to get through this. You get better and better every day. You always learn from those mistakes and they turn out positive. Just speak uplifting things over your life and watch how God comes down and transform your life for the best. Oops. There's a whole word. See, my dog is over here chewing on something right under me, and I kept hearing something that was acting like it was about to fall. I was hoping we could get off the podcast before that happened. I'm sorry, cellmates. But yes, I'm affirming that there are millions, trillions, billions of y'all out here tuned in, and we're going to go ahead and end this thing off with our positive affirmations.
Leo definitely not afraid of taking risks.
Girl, Leo, like, why?
Like, not caring. Nobody said, okay, let's take a note from Leo. My affirmation is, I am ready to make a change.
Yes. I am taking calculated risks that leads me to greater prosperous endings.
Yes. All right, soulmates, let us know what you're changing in any platform that we're on. We're on SoundCloud, we're on YouTube, whoop, whoop. We are on Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, and just subscribe with us there, chat it up with us there. And we're also on all social media platforms. That's Soul Filling Podcast, SOUL space FILLING. And like, just get in tune with us because 2021, we're all going to the next level. Okay.
Girl.
So much.
Until next time, soulmates. Bye. We love y'all.
Oh my gosh, how do I end this? I always